Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about polyvagal theory and how this relates to healing chronic pain and chronic symptoms. So let's get into it. I'm super excited today to be talking about polyvagal theory and how it relates to mind-body healing. Now, this video might be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit sciencey, and full disclosure, I'm not a scientist. I'm a therapist, but I'll do my best to explain the concepts. And this video, the information in it comes from Dr. Stephen Porges, who developed polyvagal theory, and also from a therapist named Deb Dana, who trains other therapists in polyvagal theory. So let's dive into it. The autonomic nervous system is made up of two different branches, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. And basically, in response to sensations or signals internally or externally, it can go into three different states: the ventral vagal state, the sympathetic state, and the dorsal vagal state. And we shift between these three different states for the purpose of survival. The sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system mobilizes us. It prepares us for action by responding to cues of danger internally or externally, by putting us into a fight or flight response. Now, this is really useful for survival. Being in a fight or flight response, if a bear is attacking you, can be really helpful so that you can live another day. But if we're in a sympathetic state for a prolonged period of time, it can actually start to trigger mind-body concerns. In the parasympathetic branch, the remaining two states occur via the vagus nerve. Deb Dana explains from the brainstem to the base of the skull, the vagus travels in two directions: downward through the lungs, heart, diaphragm, and stomach, and upward to connect the nerves in the neck, throat, eyes, and ears. The vagus nerve is divided into two parts, the ventral vagal pathway and the dorsal vagal pathway. Now, we can go into a ventral vagal state when our nervous system is sensing cues of safety. And when we're in this state, we feel socially engaged, we feel socially connected, and overall have a sense of safety. Now, this is really important for mind-body healing because the more often we can shift to a ventral vagal state, the better, because it can actually start to reduce our symptoms or cause them to completely dissipate. Again, as I've talked about lots of my videos, having a sense of safety is vital to overcome mind-body concerns. However, the dorsal vagal pathway responds to extreme danger. When we're in this state, basically we start to shut down, we start to feel numb, disconnected, dissociative. To some degree, we can actually just completely collapse. So when we're in a dorsal vagal state, we're still having a sense of fear, but we're more immobilized. And as a result, this can worsen mind-body concerns and really cause them to be perpetuated. For myself, I've been in this state before, especially when I was in pain. I think a lot of times when we're having chronic pain or symptoms, we can fall into this state for a prolonged period of time, but this will perpetuate our symptoms. Now, Dr. Stephen Porges discusses how in our autonomic nervous system, we have a hierarchy of responses where we can shift between the three states depending on cues of safety and danger. So if we're sensing cues of safety, we can shift to a ventral vagal state where we feel calm, connected, and at ease. But if our nervous system starts to sense cues of danger, it mobilizes us by moving us to a sympathetic state, which is really helpful because a lot of times if we take action and there's actual danger, it can help us move through the challenge that we're facing in our day-to-day life. But if the fear becomes too much, we can shift right to a dorsal vagal state where we shut down, we collapse, and we just go numb. What I want people to take away from this video is understanding what state you're in throughout the day. Because the first step is awareness here. We need to be aware of what state we're in so that we know what to do and how we need to shift. And so whether you're in a ventral vagal state, a sympathetic state, or a dorsal vagal state is really important information to know. And most people are going to go into these three states and shift between them throughout each day. So I'll review the three states for you quickly. When we're in a ventral vagal state, we feel safe, we feel connected with others, connected with the world, we want to socially engage, we might feel relaxed or at ease. And some people even want to be playful or go and have fun. And it's really important to understand when you're in a ventral vagal state and what's shifting you to this, because this can help us reduce and eliminate our mind-body concerns. Again, like I've said many times, the goal here is safety. The more often you can spend in a ventral vagal state, the better. When we're in a sympathetic state, we're mobilized. Our nervous system is preparing us for action. And it does this by causing us to have quick, shallow, short breathing, have a really fast heart rate. We can start to feel panicky, anxious, sometimes distressed. People can also feel angry or irritated. And this can affect our sleep and, of course, our relationships. Now, throughout our day, at some point, you're probably going to go into a sympathetic state. The issue is when we're in a sympathetic state for a prolonged period of time, because that's when, fear increases. Our nervous system's feeling in danger for too long, and we can open ourselves up to having mind-body concerns like pain, stomach issues are really common, or other symptoms. And finally, when we're in a dorsal vagal state, we're immobilized with fear. We feel numb, in despair, depressed, alone, hopeless, helpless. And for a lot of people, when they experience trauma, they can go to a dorsal vagal state where they start to dissociate or feel numb. And so the issue with being in a dorsal vagal state is there's such a high level of fear that we're feeling, but we're not even able to take any action. And so this is where mind-body concerns, especially like pain and fatigue, can really take off and start to be perpetuated. So I hope this introductory video on polyvagal theory was helpful. What I want people to take away from this is really starting to identify throughout your day what state you're in. Because the first step is awareness. In future videos, I'm going to talk about how we can work on shifting between these states. But at first, we just need to know what state we're in. So please put your questions or comments down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all next time. Happy healing.